You know, it's funny, I can't even make myself a panelist. Okay, you want to go ahead and start?
Okay. All right. So we will ooh, now there's feedback. Open up the Madison Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Agency meeting of Monday, July 6th, 2026 at 7:06 p.m. We have Lee Schumacher, Joe Boudreau, Steve Lowry, Connor Loss, myself, Kayla Freidenberg, and our staff member, Maria Patello, um, on here for the agency. Our first application is 26-14, 52 Wildcat Road. So we received this last month. Um, this is for some pretty substantial reworking of a backyard, removing a deck and a hot tub and a walkway, and installing a pool, and patio walkways and some plantings within the 100-foot review line, review area. So do we have someone for the applicant? I guess Mr. Laplace.
Yes, I'm a landscape designer with Taurus and Stone and Garden. I will be speaking on behalf of the Potters.
Okay. So hopefully everyone had a chance to either drive by, which is great, but of course look at the site plan. Michelle Ford, also the soil scientist, had some comments as well about having stormwater be infiltrated and piped, and making sure that the stockpile area and construction access are clearly delineated on the site plan. So I'm not sure. I didn't see an updated site plan. Is that right, Maria?
I'm sorry, you didn't see an updated site plan?
Did I miss it on the site plan? Was there a place where they put the stormwater runoff? I mean, not the construction access.
No, I think it was recommended. I don't think that they placed it on there.
Okay.
There's areas where there's the construction laydown for the materials. I think I recommended that maybe.
Right,
They
you
added.
did, and Michelle Ford did as well in her letter.
So
Okay.
if I could speak on that, the plan that I submitted does clearly have a construction access noted on that. There also is that laydown area marked as well. And as far as the stockpile, we'll be loading directly into trucks, so there won't be a need for a stockpile area throughout this project. As far as the stormwater management, I'm proposing permeable patios so that the water can infiltrate right into the ground, minimizing any runoff from the work that we are proposing.
Other questions? Any other questions from the agency members for the applicant?
No, I think can we look at the plan? Is there a way to pull the plan up? Just to so Dylan can show us where the access is and what.
Dylan can share. If not, I can share.
Maria, would you mind sharing, simply because I have to go off my iPad? There was an issue with my computer, but I do have the PDF pulled up on my computer.
Sure. Let's see here. Hopefully this will work since nothing else worked. The one time I tried to do a Zoom from home. We see the plan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So if you notice right by the leaching fields there, I have access coming in. I'm trying to keep as much work as possible away from the inland wetlands. And then you can see that my laydown area is staged over in the corner of the driveway, and that's a gravel driveway.
And is there a note on there about loading into trucks and not stockpiling anything?
I think it's in here somewhere.
Dylan?
Yes, removal of soil right here. Go to direct into trucks.
Oh, okay, good, thanks.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I noted it, but I wanted to double check as well. But yeah, basically with this plan, what I'm proposing is to minimize any risk of impacting the inland wetlands, but still helping the client achieve what they're looking for. And I feel that this plan was the best way that I could go about that. I'd be happy to walk you guys through any portion of the design if you would like me to do so.
Okay.
What's the difference between the white triangles and the black triangles?
Yes, so with that, basically I was provided two plans. One was the original one from 1992, and then the one that has the black triangles with the pink dots, that one was from August 4th of 2025, and that was provided by Ms. Ford.
Does that mean there was wetlands filled along the way?
No, there was no filling of the wetlands in that area that I'm aware of. From my opinion of looking at it, it looked completely untouched to me. I don't.
It's pretty heavily wooded back there, I think.
Yes. Yep. And you can see that I'll have my silt fence placed along the woods line and then in front of the existing retaining wall that's back there. It's a old field stone wall that has been there for many, many years. You can tell by looking at it. By doing that, we're going to prevent any disturbance of the wetlands throughout this process.
Other questions or clarifications for the applicant?
I drove by, but I didn't feel comfortable driving up the driveway. Is that all lawn back there, Dylan? Where's the tree line? Does the tree line go along the old wetland flags, or is it closer to the house or further away?
So if you notice, I do have a small detail there that says approximate canopy line, sourced from an aerial map. Now that's a dotted line. Basically, all the work that I'm proposing is in maintained area right now. The pool,
Okay.
pool patio, plantings, and shed are currently existing lawn. The patio space by the house is currently a raised deck, and then that gravel area is existing. Just reducing it slightly so that I can fit some eastern red cedars kind of as a buffer between the work that we're doing and the wetlands.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Of course. And the walkways, the front and back, those are being replaced. They're currently concrete, so this will actually benefit with the infiltration.
I don't have any other questions.
Is that laydown area for materials within your silt fence line?
It is not, but based on the topography of the land, basically, I'm just gonna have pallets of materials in that area. And like I said, the topography kind of starts to raise back there, so I don't believe that that will impact the wetlands in any way.
Okay, when you say the topography raises there, so is that laydown area at a high point or a low point?
So basically the topography outside of the driveway is higher. The driveway is lower and it is gravel.
Okay.
By materials, and you had mentioned pallets.
Yep.
Are you dumping soil or gravel or something there, or is everything going to be pallets in the laydown area?
So we will have pallets of pavers and wall block. Those will be set in that area. And then I believe that the gravel material that we'll be using for our base, and that's a 3/4 clean crushed stone. That will be loaded either directly out of our trucks or in that laydown area as well. But now that is a clean crushed gravel, so I don't assume.
Yeah, 3/4 inch crushed stone doesn't flow very well. So I guess that's not gonna worry about it washing away.
Exactly. Yep. And as far as topsoil for the lawn repair, we'll be dispersing that right out of the trucks to minimize any impact.
Other questions or comments? I will, so if in staff report, she had a few suggestions, and one was that, and it's actually one of the conditions in the draft proposal, was that the ENS controls shall remain in place until all lawn and transition areas achieve 85% established growth, which I think is a great thing to include. And we can talk about that when we get there. Because Michelle Ford also in her letter really highlighted that having, having this vegetated buffer was going to be pretty important for, having all that vegetation, the new vegetation in place was going to be important. I guess I would just ask, before we get to any part of the resolution, if you had comments on that, and I guess my question is, how or who determines when 85%, and if that's a good number, if 85% established growth is in place.
Is that when you usually do like after a growing season or like 1 or 2 growing seasons?
Well, that's often what we do for like enforcement and vegetation around these wetland buffers that or if they're specifically for a wetland buffer area. This is, I think, part of the landscaping plan, so it's slightly different, I think, because it's more concentrated around all that's happening around the pool and the patio.
Okay.
That's my take on what Maria had said, but she can say that as well. But I think it is important to keep those ENS controls in place until everything is established. And so I'm just flagging that as it's in our draft resolution. And if you have any thoughts before we move into thinking about conditions, just to highlight that. And Dylan, if you had anything to add about how you perceive making sure that everything is established and everything's growing well before we take away those ENS controls.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to add a note to the plan, stating it clearly. Typically, from my experience, what we do is we wait for that lawn area to become green and obviously really root so that none of that soil washes away. And then that silt fence would then be removed. I don't feel that the trees obviously need to reach that 85%. It's primarily going to be any loose soil. Once there's something holding that material in place, then it's safe to remove the silt fence. But if you guys would like us to kind of go about it in a different manner, we'd be happy to do so.
So it's lawn being replaced, but it's also in addition to the cedars, aren't there some other native plantings that you're doing as well?
Yes, so there's going to be cedars, some transplanted hollies, some hydrangeas, Hacknacloa, which is a variety of grass, an ornamental grass. I'll have a still be liriope, and then a variety of other plantings closer to the house. But that's primarily what's going to be on that woods line closest to the wetlands. And that's going to be set in a mulch planting bed.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's I think it's a great idea to include in our resolution. I'm glad Maria flagged that. I will just, also mention, and then in case anybody else has other things to think about that, in Michelle Ford's letter, she said that she says, I don't foresee significant adverse impacts to the designated wetland area, provided that work remains within the proposed limits. The existing canopy wooded edge is maintained and the limit of construction shown is followed and appropriate ENS controls are maintained. So I just wonder, since it's not, it may be, since the wetland is delineated, it may be in order to make sure that people are aware of that and to keep this canopy and wooded edge in place, that maybe we have wetland markers along since we have the flagging, then that could be clear in case there's landscapers or anybody else that's kind of, maybe just off the wetland flag. Since they're already there, it might be a good way to be really clear that this wooded edge needs to be maintained. She highlights that's highlighted throughout.
Of course. And I mean, I would just love your feedback on it. I feel that the silt fence is really going to delineate that. And our workers are going to understand that no work will happen past that silt fence.
Right. This is for after. This is,
Oh, okay.
of course, this silt fence, typically often what we do in places where lawn and wetland are pretty close is just have these markers, and they just say wetland boundary. They
Gotcha.
just are every like 50 feet. And it just highlights to anyone, the current owners, next owners, landscapers, that here is the boundary of the wetland.
Understood.
So that's yes, of course, the silt fence will be a very clear marker for when the work is happening. But after the work's happened, things grow and change. And this is it's often, we often use it to just, in these cases, mark where wetlands are.
Of course. My apologies. I misunderstood the question.
Oh, no, I should have explained. You haven't been to all of our meetings for the last 10 years. So that's fine. All right.
No, I agree with that idea.
Okay. So those are just, those are my notes that I wanted to flag. Does anybody else have any questions? Otherwise we can,
regarding the 85%, is that something that Michelle Ford can do after a year or two or whatever duration?
well,
She could.
I guess that's why I flagged that. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure who would do that.
Wouldn't that be like, in the past, hasn't Maria looked like done inspections in the past, or no?
I could do it either way. It could be either myself, and I have done it, or if you prefer to have, Michelle Ford do it as an expert, that's fine too. But I have gone out before and told people when it's stabilized enough to remove their ENS.
Okay. I think, yeah, because you've been doing that pretty frequently, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this isn't an enforcement. This is just, keeping those ENS controls in place until things are grown up. But
Agreed.
Anna, do you have thoughts?
No, my thought was just, if Maria's comfortable doing that, I think that's fine. I don't, it's not in the wetland. It's not I shouldn't say significant, but it's not a major impact to the wetland. So I think if Maria were comfortable doing that I would recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with it, you guys. Yep.
That's great. So if there are no other questions or clarifications from the applicant, if there are, please do those now. If there's not, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve application 26-1452 Wildcat Road. I don't have the staff memo up here. but with our standard conditions. With our standard conditions.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a second, and Maria's pulling this up. So the three conditions here are, the first two are standard. The third is what we previously discussed about having all the ENS controls in place until the lawn and transition areas achieve 85% established growth. I would also nominate a fourth condition to put in just the boundary markers along the wetland, now that it's flagged, maybe, just off the wetland, a couple feet off the flagged area every, I don't know, 30 feet, 50 feet, whatever we typically do.
50 feet. Yeah, use
50,
50.
okay.
Yeah.
I would nominate that as a fourth condition of approval.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we have, go ahead.
Sorry, also under number 3, we say and seeded with, we might just want to finish out that sentence. And say like it's seeded with like a, I don't know, a standard lawn mix.
With, they have everything spelled out on the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
As noted.
But you're right.
Yeah, it should be a finished line, and I think he said it was a ornamental grass. He mentioned a type of grass.
Yeah, it's a Lesku All Pro Transition Tall Fescue Seed Blend.
Maybe
Well-
just like as noted on the approved plan set.
Mhm.
Yeah, as noted
Yeah.
on the site plan.
Good. Good catch.
Yes. My head just filled in the extra words.
Mine too. I never noticed that.
We lost item 4 too in the editing. So, there you go.
Okay.
So I think we had the motion and the second and the 4 conditions.
Did
Yep,
we still
so-
want to, sorry, did we still want to say a time frame for that 85%?
Well, I mean, we could, or it could just be when it gets to 85%. I guess with, I would, I mean, right? I mean, it should be checked if they start for this growing season, hopefully by the fall, but
Yeah.
I guess it depends.
Could be fall. It may not. Yeah, depends on how long this project takes. It may not be
Right.
until spring.
So, yeah. So that's how it's differed from our like enforcements where we're like, it has to reach 80%
There's
by,
no time. There
survival.
shouldn't really. Yeah, there doesn't need to be a. Yeah, I believe the last one I did, it was almost a year before we told them they can take the ENS. I think it was on Cops Road to Brainerd House.
Okay.
And I remember, it started with Aaron, and then I went out like the following spring and finally told them it was okay to remove.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
the
that's what's
next-
nice about the 85% established. That's however long that takes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'd add to the end of that sentence, as confirmed by the inland wetlands agent.
Okay.
Thank you, if that's okay with everybody.
All right. Anything else that we want to add before we vote? Okay. All those in favor of the motion as modified, raise your hand, say aye.
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 Any
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. Passes
Can I
unanimously. All right.
can I just have who second that motion?
Who
I made
seconded
it, I
it?
think Joe seconded it.
No,
Joe?
it wasn't me. I thought
Oh,
somebody else did.
I think I did.
Okay,
Definitely
Kayla.
there was a second.
No, yeah, there was a second.
I know Lee made the motion. Okay.
Yeah, we did. I seconded. Okay, and now it's all
Okay.
approved. All right. So thank you, Dylan, for being so clear and accommodating, and I hope the project goes well.
Of course. Thank you guys for taking the time this evening.
Okay.
And,
Let's see. So our next application is 26-15, 61 Shorelands Drive. We did discuss this a little bit last month insofar as the applicant wanted to remove some of the trees that were already being proposed to be taken down, but have kind of an emergency removal because they were dead and leaning. It looks like that happened via section 13, which is what we recommended. So this is the full proposal to remove trees, grind stumps, manage invasive species, etc., all within 100 feet of the upland review area. And we have Barb Yeager for the applicant. All right, so do we, Barb, do you want to, I don't know if you can share or Maria can share, we can just kind of look at the plan and just make sure we're all on board with what's happening and we can, see if there need to be any answer any questions agency members might have.
Can you see? I can't see it.
Yes.
Okay. So, as you know, I have talked to the arborist about removing the trees that are truly dead and ready to fall over. And that is scheduled for July 20th. He will do it
Okay.
earlier if he can, but I'm guessing after the storm the other day, he will not be doing it any earlier. So that's in process. I left it on this plan because I just don't know when that's going to happen. I'm hoping it'll happen soon because they are a danger, but we'll see. I don't know what other questions you would have. Originally, when I approached the client, the main goal of the project was to delineate their property from the town road. There's a turnaround, a kind of a rough turnaround there, and people stop, and they wanted to delineate their property. And when we started to look at that, we saw some other issues. We needed to remove some trees. There's some dead trees over there. There were 3 huge dead trees that were on town property that the town removed. And as we walked through the property, in order to make it more useful for the client, we need more sunlight to promote some lawn growth. We're not looking at a high maintenance lawn. We're looking at low mow fescues. So we selectively went through and are removing Norway maples, some other trees that are poorly formed, to create a little bit of more sun on the ground. We do have 2 patches. One patch is on town property. I'm not quite sure what to do with that, of knotweed. And then there are 2 bigger patches, one that borders the pond and is actually in the water. And I've talked to, I want to say 4 experts. The cost of it is pretty prohibitive. I just got some information from another person who can help us dig it out and then monitor it. I've heard that's moderately effective for removal of knotweed. But our goal is to remove the knotweed, but I'm working at trying to find the best way to do that.
So the knotweed removal right now is not in the water.
We haven't done it. At this point, it's just been cut back and, the tops removed, but we haven't been able to do anything. I haven't been able to get anybody who's willing to work on it. Believe it or not, I've talked to pond experts. I've talked to landscapers. It's apparently becoming a bigger problem and people are less willing to deal with it because it's hard to deal with. But we're looking to get that removed, but it hasn't happened yet. But I wanted to include it here because that is something we want done. Because it is
Okay.
starting to
I
spread.
guess if you're saying, right, but if you're, but in this application, I think it says on the pond bank. And of course, as you know, if you go into the wetland itself, then that could be a slightly different
What would you
type of
suggest?
activity, depending.
Right, well, if we use herbicides, then we have to get a DEP permit. And if we get a DEP permit, then my understanding is inland wetlands is notified, but they're not involved.
Yes, that is true. And an
If it's
herbicide,
digging, then you are involved. If we have to go into the water and remove it, then you are involved.
Right.
right? And I guess what I'm asking is, if right now it's not saying in the water, right? As my understanding.
Oh, it's in the water. It's about
No,
2 feet in the water.
on the application, is it saying, or maybe I missed this?
Yeah, right now on the
that you're
application,
going to go.
we're monitoring it
Okay.
because there's really nothing I can do at this point with it. The one that's
Okay.
in the wetlands, there's half of that patch is on the bank, which is in the review area, and half of that patch is actually in the wetland. Another patch
Okay.
is on town property, which is in the review area, which you can see on the drawing. It's over here. There's one here. Can you see that?
Yep.
There's one
Yeah.
here, which you see it goes into the pond and
Yeah.
out of the pond. And it's moving because that's what it does. And then there's this patch here, which is town property, which just is there.
Okay. Well, I guess what I would say is that, I guess then I guess you're not eradicating. So for this application, it is just monitoring. Is that right? If you're going to eradicate by digging, then and it sounds like you don't know if you're going to eradicate by digging. So I guess.
Yeah, we don't know because it'll take, I'm told everybody I've talked to, the experts on it tell me it's 3 to 5 years of work to get it.
I imagine.
So if we dig it out, it's going to take 3 to 5 years to dig it out, monitor it, dig it out, monitor it, dig it out, monitor it.
Well, right. And then you still have the patch that is right next to you on town property, unless the town wants you or lets you take that out. So for the purposes of this application, I guess I would just want to be clear that it sounds like this is going to be monitoring, having a knotweed monitor area and not a control and eradication, since you don't have that in place yet.
Right, if we dig it out
sound-
if we dig out this patch over here that's up out of the way away from the wetlands, but in the review area, is that a problem?
Okay, but
Right now it's getting mowed.
Did you ever try covering it over with 6 mil black plastic? I've had good luck with that.
Everybody I've talked to said that will work, and then you remove the plastic and it'll come back. You have to leave the plastic on for over a year.
I left mine down for 3 years until the plastic started to rip, and then I picked it up and I just had a few little pieces come up, which I got rid of with a little spot spraying with Roundup. Worked for me. I had about 1,000 square feet of it. Your results may vary.
It has to be there for 3 years.
But I left it there for 3 years. It was dried out and then the sun was gone, and
I guess I didn't put on the application because my hope was I could get it sprayed.
Yeah.
Because that's a more efficient way to do it. But
maybe
they're telling me, I finally got a quote from somebody, and it's it's unreasonable.
I tried spraying mine for a year, just going around hitting each plant and for a whole summer, and that didn't work. So. the
Right, I've done
plastic-
it. When I was operations manager of a nursery, it took me, and I won't say how I did it, but we did get rid of it, but it did take 3 years.
Yep. Well, that's just another thought. I mean, that does work. It just takes time with having black plastic on the ground.
Yeah, I can't imagine the town's gonna want us to put black plastic next to the road for 3 years.
Well, you can do it in the patch at the back there, but again,
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, so this is good. So it's good to have these discussions. So it sounds like,
I just want to be honest.
I guess what I would say, right? No, I guess what I would say is, if you're digging in the wetland, then that is different than like in the water. Then that it just triggers, kind of a different, at least discussion than digging in the upland review area. And of course, as you know, if deep gives you a permit to spray in the pond, then you can spray all you want, and that's not under our purview, interestingly. So in Maria's kind of staff report on this, she noted that let's see, there is the track pads. Do you have any places that you are, like a staging area where you're going to be putting any, what does she call it? Any stockpile area or any other things, material laydown area for fencing, etc. Do you have a spot for that, or is that something you anticipate doing?
No, I didn't put anything up there. I would imagine I'm sorry.
Oh.
I would imagine it's going to be anything where the trucks park and everything is going to be up in this area. This is town property right here. There's a turnaround here. So it would be up in this area here.
Okay.
The arborist tells me they'll be up there and then they'll come down in the soft area that sometimes if it's really wet, it's a little soft in this area here where that patch is. So depending on the time of the year, there would have to be track pads there for his equipment to get in between where the monitor area is and the property line. But up until today, it was pretty firm. But he said he'll have them available if he needs them. The rest of the area is fairly firm.
And it sounds like the trees are being, bucket truck and climbing crews, but that
Yes.
truck isn't going all the way back there, is it?
Yeah, he's
mean-
going to try to get it back as far as he can.
Okay.
These trees, this trees a lot back here. Some of these trees are really large. Most of them
Yeah.
are not. A couple of them are 21 inches. There's a cherry in the back that's pretty dead. That's about 27 inches. So he's going to try to climb what he has to because we're next to, another person's property. But he said it's easier if he can get the bucket in there. It's just going to depend on how he takes the trees out and how he maneuvers in there. He said that the equipment shouldn't damage the soil. I mean, he's not going to be creating big ruts or anything. And he will make sure. I asked him, I said, yes, he said he's going to, fell them onto the ground and not towards the pond. Obviously, it's harder for him to get them out of the pond. So he's going to avoid that.
Yeah, I imagine. And you've got silt fence that you'll have.
I did
around
not. The slope
pond?
here is not bad. We're not The only place we disturb soil, and that's only the size of a trunk, would be stump grinding. And he said in some cases, he'll just cut it as low to the ground as he can rather than stump grinding. And the slopes there is not bad. I was concerned about if I take that whole side of the pond, put in silt fencing with hay baling, dig a trench 2 inches, right, 2 to 4 inches deep, that whole length of that pond. I just had a lot of concern about doing it along that length of space along a pond. Nothing's going to move. When we leave silt fence out, nothing moves upland when you've got that silt fence there. It can't move under that fence. So we can put it in, certainly, but I had some concerns. So what I try to do is put core logs in areas that I felt there might be erosion. We're not disturbing much vegetation except for where we're digging the trees. So I thought on the western side nearest the road, that's a fairly steep slope. And I indicated core logs along the steepest part of it, sort of along the bank, the edge of the pond. So if there's erosion problems there, because we are doing some planting there, that would stop that. But along the rest of the pond, I was not putting silt fence, but I can. I do have concerns about digging a trench around that pond.
Right, but you're taking out a significant number of trees and
Yes.
having heavy equipment. So even if it's firm now, I mean, there is going to be some change to the, you know, to that area. It's you know, I don't know. Um, it just seems like taking out that much vegetation invites, erosion, especially in, rain events like we have today and tomorrow.
Right, but we're not ripping the roots out or anything. I mean, eventually the roots will rot, but I mean, we're removing canopy, right? So there'll be more direct rain on the surface. We can put the silt fence in. I just have concerns about it.
Um, do hay bales work better, worse, or do your core logs make more sense to line the pond with those?
The whole pond? No. That would be, I mean, we could do that. That's pretty expensive. The silt fence is a more reasonable cost, but again, it was just more an ecological thing. I'm happy to do it. I just felt like
Well, I'm happy to hear
lot.
from.
We're
Yeah.
removed, there's trees being removed here and there.
Yeah,
Some of them are being, the stumps are being ground, some of them being left alone. I don't see a whole lot of disturbance except by the equipment. I think when the job gets done, you can take a look at where erosion is likely to occur and then use erosion control in those spots rather than thinking about lining the whole pond with something.
I agree.
did-
I think you could probably do like a stacked core log. But I agree that trenching may not be best by the pond.
Well, you're also going to have to cut down through roots along with the vegetation along the pond to get that 4-inch deep trench that you bury the silt fence in.
Right, so I think maybe if you want that height factor, maybe stacking logs like on top of each other in spot areas of concern or hay bales.
Well, one core log would do it.
Okay.
And what I did specify in the thing is that we would have silt fencing on site in case there were issues, where we saw a lot of soil disturbance. So we would monitor soil disturbance, and if we needed some fencing in areas right here, I don't think if you can see the topography, there's sort of a little dip right here. So the water would run this way. It would come down here and run in sort of a little lower area that we could, in something like that, I could put silt fencing here to here. If
Well,
that,
I am just making sure that we discuss all of this. So if it seems like having spot fencing makes sense, and if you're gonna have that on site, um, then that can work. Of course, there needs to be a balance between trying to prevent erosion and then, of course, causing it by digging a trench to put in a silt fence. Um, I guess it would just be good to be, this is a big area. You are taking out trees and you're going to have heavy machinery back there. It would be just good to be aware of that because getting erosion in that pond would be great.
oh yeah, our goal is our goal is to improve the area, not make that pond worse. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in pretty good shape. I mean, it's filling with leaves, which is typical of this type of pond. If you look at historical photos of this was all farm field, no trees, nothing.
Right.
The pond across the street is in very poor condition because it's filling up. And there's another pond across the street, which you wouldn't even know is there, which is almost totally gone. So, I mean, that's succession. So that's kind of what happens with ponds unless you manage them.
Right. Um, and yeah, the pond across the street also has a lot of algae and stuff. It has a lot more sunlight than your pond currently does. So that might be something your client's going to need to manage as well once they get more sunlight in there.
Well, the one of the reasons we are not trying to touch any trees on the south side of that pond. You'll notice I'm touching nothing over there. We are touching some on the west. A fair number of those are dying anyway. And I'm trying to plant a few more on, that's the next plan. So I'm planting a few trees out us here because I wanted to vegetate this west side of the pond with some trees because I don't want sun on this side. And then
Right.
putting a few more trees and shrubs in this area where we're removing some trees right along the wetlands. But they're more ornamental trees. These are bigger trees. I have tupelo and I forget what else in there. Some taller trees trying to keep the shade on that side of the tree, the pond.
Yeah. Other questions for the applicant?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, Maria, once again, has given us a lovely draft resolution. If we're all content with the answers to our questions, I entertain a motion for application 26-15.
I move we approve application 26-1561 Shoreland Drive with our standard conditions, which hopefully Maria can put up on the screen for us.
Yeah, actually,
Barbara.
oh yeah, Barb, if you don't
Okay.
mind, yeah. So,
I got it.
oh,
Okay.
is there a second? I'll second. All right, so we have a motion by Lee, I've seconded, and Maria has put up our draft resolution. So number one is our standard, number two addresses the ENS control measures. And they'll to comply with Connecticut guidelines and it sounds like the applicant is also going to be monitoring that. Our third condition is that the logs may only be removed once the site is 100% stabilized. Do those logs get removed or do they just kind of decay in place? Since it says they're
So
biodegradable.
they are, but I would remove them given that
Okay,
if it's there for more than, I would say, 6 months, you probably they don't biodegrade that fast.
okay.
So they're
All
gonna
right,
look,
so
they're not gonna look good. I mean, that's fine. They don't look good, but I would probably remove most of them unless they start to look bad and then you can just leave them.
okay, so this condition 3 makes sense. Keep everything until it's 100% stabilized. We could add there, Maria, if you are okay, if you can, as we did in the previous application, I forget what the language was, is,
As confirmed by,
as yes, as confirmed by the inland wetlands agent. Thanks, Lee.
So when I think it looks stable, 100% stable, I'll
call
call
Maria.
and have them approve removal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that
Give me a
all of
call.
it? Because if I can remove, like my goal would be if I have to put sediment fence in, the faster I can remove the sediment fence in, the better I think it would be for the pond habitat. Are you talking 100% of the site or 100%? Because I'd imagine on the steeper slope, I'll leave it longer.
I think whatever you're planting, I think the idea is that anything that is close to the pond edge needs to be 100% stabilized before any ENS controls are removed.
Okay, great.
But you can contact, but that's something that, if you think it's stabilized, then definitely check with Maria
Okay,
and do that. And then the fourth condition for this motion is that the applicant shall utilize best management practices with respect to fertilizer application within the 100-foot wetland review area. I think just to highlight that, I think that'll be really important here because you're opening this up, and if there's going to be a lot of fertilizer, it will look like the pond across the street, and you're going to have duckweed and algae, and it won't be quite this, maybe what people want. So hopefully having this in there will be a way to just think about, for the owners to think about how they fertilize.
Yep.
All right, so those are our
Um,
4 conditions.
Sorry, I did have one quick
Sorry?
question. The Connecticut
Yes.
Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sediment Control, I think there's a 2024 version that replaced the '02 version.
yeah, I think you're right.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think we may want to change that on our template and then all of our other drafts that we have adhere to.
Sure.
Okay. That would be great.
Not a huge thing.
I know, I
just
wonder,
noticed
that seems,
it.
well, no,
Yeah.
but that's good. And
Yeah, yes, there is. I haven't seen it, so yeah.
Okay, good catch.
Okay, so we'll have, change that to 2024. Great, this is excellent. Any other comments?
How did the commission
questions,
feel about my
amendments?
suggestion that we just use soil and erosion control as needed, since there's not going to be large scale disturbance on the site?
Well, because
Isn't
it's
it
not
kind of already?
delineated. Yeah, it is. It's because it's only delineated on the plan in certain places. I think it is already on there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I did
you could put
indicate,
as needed.
I did indicate
Go
on the
ahead.
plan that it's available as needed.
Okay,
And the plan shows it
I
in
mean-
the areas of concern.
Right.
all right.
And that's what these conditions would address, is anything that is on the plan. But thank you. It's good to be very clear about this. Any other comments or amendments? All right, all in favor of approving application 26-15, 61 Shorelands Drive as amended? Raise your hands, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any
I,
opposed? Abstaining? Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Well,
Thank you.
Barbara.
thank you, Barb. And
Thanks, Barb.
those are our 2 received applications. So, or our 2 applications that we acted on. we do have two applications for receipt. One, our first one is 26-1719 Advent Hill Road. This is actually a subdivision referral for subdividing a piece of land kind of at the junction of Lantern Hill and Advent Hill Road. If you had a chance to look at it, we had looks like Rob Russo was out there and had some comments, and Kyle Lynch from CLA Associates. The it's so for as you'll recall, for subdivision referral, this one doesn't have an application associated with it. So this is basically we can draft a paragraph or something. It's not an application, but we should discuss this subdivision and how it could be impacting the wetlands on site. So the wetlands on site are to the north mostly. If you saw on the application, lot B, it looks like the 100-foot review area goes through most of that or half of that proposed lot B. It goes through part of the house. The wetland, according to the soil scientists, has some pretty good principal functional values. It's flood flow alteration, sediment intoxicant retention, nutrient removal, production, export, wildlife habitat. And they kind of address in their letter, and I'm just highlighting their letter since that's mostly what we're talking about. That there's they're not obviously altering the wetland. There will be more impervious surface, and obviously we will get this application. When they put a house on there, we see it again. So we can talk about runoff at that point. They mentioned the sediment intoxicant retention and silt fences will be the one to be used. So this is again all from the soil scientists. They really highlight that to kind of keep the nutrient removal, production, export, and wildlife habitat, that minimizing work around the wetland will be important, and as as we often discuss. So that's kind of briefly summarizing. Hopefully you read the letter from the wetland scientists. Are there, in some cases when we have these referrals, we highlight this goes to planning and zoning. This is a sensitive area, or, I don't know. There's been some subdivisions where we've had big things to say about what might happen. I think Barbary Hill was one. There's been several. So, any comments or questions or clarifications or anything you'd like to discuss about this?
Sounds like it would be a sensitive resource area, and it could be one where we'd want to do like that plaque idea again.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
I think. Okay.
do a what? I'm sorry.
Sorry, that wetland plaque, putting up the plaques like we have in the
The
past.
boundary markers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that when you get,
I agree. Yeah.
but you're
When we
gonna,
get the
this would
application
be,
back.
for referral only, and then when you get to the portion of what would have to come back to inland wetlands for a regulated activity, yeah.
Gotcha.
This is
Okay.
just, should this lot be, re-subdivided?
Right. But I had the same thought, Anna, that once it
Yeah.
comes back to us, we would, and I guess what I will just say is it's pretty tight. I mean, they're subdividing, and there's proposed 4-bedroom houses on each of these lots. And to get everything they want in for that, you can see on the plan, they're pushing everything into, I guess it's the southeast corner. But even so, half the house is within the regulated activity area. So I guess I don't know how we would phrase it or if anybody else agrees, but I feel that it's, you know, with, without even trying, they're going to be, they have to go into the regulated activity area pretty significantly to get a house in there. It's not like other places, where, it's, this is a subdivision. It's not
Yeah,
like
it's a
Right, and
something's
driveway,
already,
this is
a
something
house.
when it gets, when,
go
Yeah.
ahead.
right, and this is something when, it's received tonight and when you see it next month, these discussions can take place. It's just a matter, would you be interested in walking it, you think, before the next meeting or driving by the area? I know the
Well,
last one on Lantern Hill, we did walk before.
yeah, we did. So that is a great point. I guess I wasn't sure since it's not an application, but it's referral. So it's just
It's a
received.
referral,
And
subdivision
so
referral, right?
we don't have to do anything. We can talk about it and go see it before we finalize our referral,
Right.
is what you're saying. Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
excellent.
I
I
mean,
thought
you
we
can
had
go
to
see it, you could
like do
drive by
something
the area if you're
tonight.
not familiar with it, and, you could definitely, it's pretty much an open lot.
Okay.
So,
Oh, good. Yes.
and then it'll
That'd
be
be great.
presented next month and how they plan to, re-subdivide it. So they can talk
Okay.
through the plans. I think there may be a slight change, in the plan. There was something that, was discussed this afternoon. So there might be a revised plan coming in. So,
Okay.
Because it's very
Okay.
there
wooded.
was just something noticed on the plan that they need to, correct or change. So,
That lot is very wooded though, isn't it, Maria? Or,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
Well,
it's all it's yeah.
you can't really see
Mhm.
much from Lantern Road, because I drove up it today.
No.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to know if there are any notes about this area on the original subdivision plan. Maybe there's a note that lot A was supposed to remain as is. Because it just seems like they're
These,
really, yep.
these are some of the things where there was some questions. So, yeah, I'm waiting for, it was, like I said, it was just discussed. There was a note on something. So they're going to try to address something, and I'll see what happens if it gets, fixed prior to the hearing or not, prior to the next meeting.
Well, would we have
Okay.
It was just,
would we have time to walk it if we wait till after the next meeting?
Would you have time to walk it before August? I mean, I guess, yeah.
No, I mean, if they're going to make changes, which we're going to see at the next meeting, should we wait till after the next
Yes,
meeting?
yeah, maybe there would be, yeah, wait, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if they come with a revised plan, sure. Yeah,
So it sounds like for now, we should just kind of accept it and wait till next meeting.
right, I would just, I
Okay.
think that's probably the best, yeah.
Okay.
I vote for
And
that.
yeah, sorry. I thought we had to do something tonight because it was a referral, but this is great.
No, yeah.
Glad to.
No, you're
Glad
just,
to.
yeah, it's just a subdivision referral, so you just have to accept it, and then they'll tell you next month how they plan on
Okay.
re-subdividing it.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that's great. So we received it. We'll hear more about it. So we can move on. The second receipt is 26-21 52 Sunny Hill Drive. This is to put a shed in the review area. It's not only within 100 feet of the wetland, but the image that was uploaded is also 10 feet from the wetland.
Yes.
And it didn't seem like it was a full, unless I missed it, a full site plan or a full application. I mean, did they consider alternate areas?
So Not that I know of, and again, this is only for receipt. I can tell you that
Right.
they did submit an application for a shed. They were having some difficulty plotting it on a plan, and my technician went out there to help the couple, and he saw a bunch of skunk cabbage and said, "I think you need wetlands delineated." So they did that. They had called Michelle Ford. She had gone out. She actually called me. This is a neighborhood that was built prior to wetland regulations. So
Mhm.
the whole entire neighborhood is wetlands or filled wetlands. And I think it just kind of goes from bad to worse. But I think the other side, there's just as much, there's wetlands pretty much almost everywhere. So I think she only delineated the side that they were the flattest side without having to remove trees or it slopes in the back of their house. They don't have much of a backyard. So they're putting it on, proposing to put it on some like existing gravel flat area that's already kind of like partially on the driveway, fairly close to the house.
Okay.
So
Well, okay. It just
they
seemed like
can
there wasn't
talk
a
about,
whole lot.
next month, and we can see,
Okay. Well, in case they get back, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, those are received. So those are done. Our next is enforcement action on 18 Kimberly Lane. So this was a fairly
yes.
big, significant clearing of vegetation, grading, whole bunch. I actually went and looked at it while it was raining just now. There's definitely water flowing through. So
I am, going to promote Mr. Young, who's the homeowner, or his wife's the homeowner. And we did, this was discovered as by staff actually driving by the property. There was apparently, and Mr. Young can clarify, but I believe what happened originally was there was a tree that fell. He has a significant piece of property on Kimberly Lane, and there's a portion, like a leg of it, that goes in front of somebody else's house. And a tree had fallen and kind of damaged a stone wall, and he called somebody to remove it, and ended up removing invasives as well to clear a drainage, area. And then also continued to clear some invasives and other dead trees. So, the work had been done. We saw it, we stopped, and this is where the enforcement, entered the enforcement. And we asked that he get the wetlands delineated. We told him it'd be a good idea to do so ahead of the meeting, because that would have been asked for anyway, and he has done that. So, he's here if anybody has any questions. Come on, Mr. Mel.
yeah, well, I guess. Oh, he's not here.
Yeah, it's not
Has anybody else
promoting him, but it's not moving him on.
Has anybody else driven by it? It's completely clear.
No, I did. I
Um,
didn't realize I should, but
well, no, that's okay. I drive up and down that way all the time, and I guess I didn't realize, shame on me, that there were wetlands there. But there definitely are. So I guess we still don't
I can
want
bring
to
out
wait till
some.
it's promoted.
Yeah, I'm trying to get his. Okay, well, I have a picture up here, but I'll wait to see what. I don't know why he's not. Dang, I'm promoting him. I'm not allowed to talk.
Hello.
There he is.
Hi. Kind right, Mr. Young.
Hello.
So we're just, yep. Can you hear us?
I'm here, but I can't see you guys. So can you see me?
No, we can
No, we just
hear
see a name.
you.
I guess it won't, not allowing me to make you a, it's not. Is it asking to be promoted as panelist? Is it giving you a message to join as a panelist?
Yeah. I just pushed that.
Okay, yep, if you don't have your, you don't show your video. I don't know how to get your video going.
Well, so we can start.
In any event, yeah. Yep,
Um,
we could start talking.
yeah, so, yeah, so do you want to put, yeah, if you want to put up a picture so we can get an idea. Okay, this is the cleared area.
Yes, this is where the drainage is over here.
Yes.
This is the, essentially almost like the wetland delineation line. Mr. Young, he knew, again, in speaking to him when we went out to the site, he was not 100%, he knew there was wetlands. We had asked him to make sure this kind of delineation he had put up so they wouldn't really do much more outside of when they cleared the tree that had fallen, which had fallen from here across this way, and the invasives out. And then they continued to plant on this side and grade this side. But he didn't realize it was regulated activity, which we made him aware of.
Yes, and I'll apologize for the commission to doing something that I wasn't supposed to do. I'm took down some dead trees on my lawn portion on the other side of the stone wall, and my intention is to rebuild the stone wall. And I knew that the drainage swale or ditch or whatever you want to call it area was wetlands, and that's why I had them stay away from that. And then when Maria came out, she told me and sent the letter. I had that area flagged, and so there's from those stones that you see lined up there to the actual flag in the wetlands or drainage area is about, I don't know, not 50 feet, but something in that area.
Yeah, so here's the flagging is right in this area. And this is Horse Pond Road. This is a finger of his property that comes out. This is somebody else's house, and then this is Mr. Young's property on Kimberly.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
That's
well,
the drainage area.
right. Okay. So
Yeah.
I guess in many of these cases, and someone else can speak, but we often have kind of restoration planting thoughts from the agency members. Or
Anybody have any
not?
thoughts?
I know, did I speak out loud?
No,
No, no, the restoration sounds like the way to go. Yep.
I haven't been by it though. I mean, so it's hard for me to imagine what was there before.
Let's see if I can't do a Google or something.
Because right now it just seems like it's open space, right?
Yes. It wasn't as
It was a
open,
lot
I
of,
think.
I think it was a lot of invasives. There were some dead trees in the area. That had, there was the one that, here, I'll show you. We're going to drive down the street. I'm going to drive, but I'm not going to get you sick. So hold on a second. I'm going to get there and then I'm going to show you. So this is our Google image.
Yeah. So that was
And
cleared out.
basically, yes, so the tree fell over this way. And Mr. Young cut the tree and then cleared the area. Some of this was already scrubby.
And the wetlands are
Again,
behind those, the wetlands are behind those, the trees of the stone wall, is that?
yes, the wetland area is, where is the drainage? It's essentially
Yeah, there's a,
right in this
tree.
area.
Yeah. It's in
Does
front
that
of the
drain the
stone
road?
wall.
So
Say that
What-
again, Steve?
Does the road drainage go down there?
yeah,
Yes.
the culvert goes into this pipe that's under the road. Yeah.
Is it piped under the ground or
It is. It's piped under
Yes.
the ground.
to the other side of the stone wall?
It goes. There's a ditch on my side of the road, and then there's a I don't know, it's maybe an 18-inch concrete pipe that goes under the road to the other side.
Okay,
In here.
So it's really the road draining to the wetland area, not the pipe to the road.
Correct.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
And
It's-
this was actually the last time, like when, I mean, it's already starting to grow back. Except for this, this portion over here. And he did plant some, I don't know if they're arborvitae. Were they some arborvitae in here or some plantings
yeah.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some, it looks like arborvitae from the pictures that were uploaded in the back. And I was there. So I guess, it's, there could be, there's like a standard wetland mix, or I don't know, Anna, do you have suggestions, or anybody? It's, it had vegetation. It was mostly invasive. There is stuff growing back, but it might be nice to not to be more proactive about putting in, native wetland mix.
I was gonna say, even if you could gear it towards pollinators, a wetland mix, but also maybe geared towards pollination.
yeah, I don't want to see that turned into a lawn, something that somebody's gonna think they want to mow or have to mow.
Right? No, there shouldn't be mowing, because it is, the flagging, looking at that is wetland. I mean, it is like tonight. When I went down and looked at it, there's water actively flowing through. It's, and water's ponding, and so yeah, having a wetland mix with pollinator, emphasis could be good.
Yeah. Pepper ridge would grow in there nice and they'd be pollinators.
This was the,
I'm sorry, what was,
I'm sorry. I don't know if I had shared this one. This is the picture I uploaded on July 1st. And you could see the flags. Like there's one here, one there, and then I think they kind of wrap this way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
So
I
you
guess
can,
I would go ahead.
No, I was going to say you can either uphold or you can uphold and amend and ask that he either, ask soil scientist or someone in order, to get recommendations for planting, that kind of thing. And then we can give a deadline or do the seed mix, your choice. I think it's a good idea to get something established in there. That's it's nice to have the rocks there as a no-go, but that's like Steve said, shouldn't just go back to like lawn. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think getting a wetland scientist in there to recommend some vegetation, I mean, besides grass, putting in shrubbery, flowers, jewelweed will grow well in there. And clethra. But, get a wetland scientist in there to make some recommendations on what would grow nicely in there.
I agree.
I agree too.
And I don't think you have to plant the
Okay.
darn thing 100% because a lot of that stuff will spread pretty well over the next 5 years anyways.
So are we talking about in the wetlands area or are we talking about in the whole area?
The review area.
Well, the
The-
wetlands and the review area, especially the wetlands area, the rest of it probably should be planted up into something just so you don't get the invasives coming back.
Oh, I put a row, I put shrubbery along the edge, I put the trees along the back edge against the stone wall and,
Yeah.
and my was to have an area lawn there that I would mow and keep down because you could see by the pictures that you had last year that it just turns into that area above the rocks. I was going to plant grass there, and keep it mowed and turn it into, it just turns into a bunch of overgrown weeds and a mess there. And there was a bunch of rotten trees that I took down. And this is the entrance to our neighborhood. So I'm just trying to improve the look and have something that I can maintain that doesn't grow wild with just junk vegetation. I'll do whatever you want in if you want. The wetlands area is already growing back.
Yeah.
So if there's some additional planting I need to do in the area from between the line of stones and the stone wall that delineates the upper portion of my lawn, I'll do whatever you want there. But the rest of it, I was intending on making something that I could mow and maintain. And if I don't do that, then it's just going to be a bunch of raggedy weeds like it was for years.
Yes, it will. Now I was talking about the wetland area. I want to get
Okay,
wetland
I'll do
vegetation.
whatever you guys want me to do in that area. I don't have
I'd
any
like to
problem
see
with
the
that at all.
wetland vegetation grow up in there so we don't get a bunch of invasives.
And, obviously we don't want the wetland itself to turn into lawn either.
No.
So
It was my intention. That's why I stopped. That's why I put those stones there.
right. So I guess this sounds like, we have the standard language. So, as Maria said, it sounds like we would amend the enforcement letter with the recommendation to consult with, a wetland scientist or, I don't know, I guess, we have, whatever the language is to get recommendations on the types of, plantings to put in that wetland area. So, we have recommendations, but there's, standard plantings, native plantings that would go into these areas.
Can I ask a stupid question? I haven't been out there though. So is that area beyond those stones, is that wetlands or is it upland review area?
That's the upland. The flags are hold on, I had the flagging somewhere in one of these pictures.
I haven't been out there.
flagging-
So I'm having a hard time getting.
The flagging is here, Lee, right by, kind of like by the culvert.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a very big wetland area.
No,
No, it's not. There's only oh wait, that's Aaron's. Hold on a second. And I'm gonna drive with you here.
So if we go back to that picture, can you use a pointer to show where the wetland area was in that picture?
Which one?
The one with
A
the
photo
stone-
or the site
one
plan?
with the one with the stones that we were just looking at.
the line of stones.
Yeah, the line of stones.
Oh no, I can't find it.
So
Where is
don't
it? Here it
you
is.
look? the picture
Sure,
you're
Ned.
at right
So the
now.
wetlands is back here. The wetland flagging would be like this way. Down
Oh,
here.
It's back there, so, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I
this
see.
was taken from, I think I'm standing on the, almost on the culvert.
Oh, okay.
Looking up the road.
Now I'm oriented. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So it sounds
the-
like it's like that little patch of wetlands in front of that new restaurant, right, on the post
Yeah,
road?
so yes, so this is the wetland areas here. And then the stones would be about here. And then the rest was cleared. Oh, too bad I can't do a side by side, but
Okay,
this is what it was. That's what it is now.
okay, so there's just a small patch up by those poles is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
and that was what was delineated by Mr. Snarsky,
Yeah, I couldn't
which is
get,
this small,
yeah, I had a hard time.
this
with
is
that.
looking up Horse Pond. Yeah, this is from Horse Pond. And it's like right here.
It's,
Right by the
my
culvert.
estimation is it's about 30 by 50 feet, the area we're talking about.
So I like Steve's idea about getting wetland scientists because it kind of sounds like if it was done right, it would end up like that patch of area in front of that new restaurant on Post Road that we looked at. I forget what the name of that is.
Oh, by Madison Prime?
Yeah, the Madison Prime, that little spot of
That
wet.
little pocket, yes,
Yes.
which I think they might have, may have cut back and then it just regrew anyway.
Right.
Right, but this could be, yeah, so I think that's what we want to do is just amend the letter and get wetland scientists out.
Yep.
And, get guidance on how to just revegetate that area with wetland plantings.
Got it.
And
Go ahead.
Kayla, when you're saying that, you mean in that culvert area or then also beyond the rocks
Well,
to up to Horse Pond?
I think it would be helpful to see what review area from that would be big, right? It would take a lot of that if we're going 100 feet within the regulated activity. I don't think that all
Okay.
needs to be revegetated, but there should be vegetation around within that wetland area that will be, that will keep it vegetated in a way that matches what it should be for a wetland.
Okay.
Yeah, if he wants to mow the rest of it past the rocks or outside of the wetland, I wouldn't want to, but that's up to him.
Well, it can't, the wetland, if it's this 30 by 50 area that maybe
Yeah.
is getting vegetated, I think
That's
that
wetland.
makes
That could
sense.
be planted in wetland vegetation.
So I guess that's what we would like reflected, or what Mr. Young can ask whoever he gets out there.
Sure.
Just kind of, does that make sense?
Does it
Sure.
mean?
Yeah,
Okay, and do you want to give a
It's just something we,
timeline?
A
Do
motion.
you want him to come back in the
timeline.
August meeting and give that he's contacted somebody and working on a plan, or do you want to give longer than that?
yeah. Well, well, we could say August, and then, if Mr. Young, if you can't get anybody by August, then you could let Maria know and we could,
Okay,
bump that.
Right.
Just because while
Sure.
we're in the growing season, it would be helpful to get it. Otherwise, it's going to be more
Absolutely.
of a pain since stuff is already
Right.
growing back up.
It would be nice to get some recommendations and then maybe get stuff in the ground by September, October,
There.
So-
Yeah.
or
Right.
sooner. Yeah. Okay,
All right.
so we'll send a amended and corrected letter.
Okay. All right, does that sound good, Mr. Young?
It does, but the one thing that I'd like you to consider is the fact that the area is already repopulating itself. So a month from now, it will be grown up with whatever native vegetation has been growing there forever. Number one, and number two, the area from the stone walls to Horse Pond Road. I need to finish that before I lose everything that I started there, which means planting the grass and I was going to, if you drive by, I was going to put mulch around the plantings on the edge and in the middle, and on my side of the drainage ditch, there's a stone wall that I'm rebuilding. Having it's put back together, not rebuild. It's just basically a pile of stones, and I'm trying to that wall right there. Actually those trees that you're looking at in that picture are the ones that have fallen down at this point. So and are gone. So I'm rebuilding that wall, and then if you in the picture you're looking at, if you look on the left-hand side of the wall, that's a section of my lawn that I'm in the process of replanting. So I just like to finish that work and do whatever, I won't go past the stones that are lined up between the wetlands and the area that I'm working on, and I'm not going to do anything on the other side, on the wetland side of my stone wall. I just need to get this work finished before I lose everything that I've put into it so far.
So it is hard to view this without, so how much of what you want to do is within the regulated, how much you are wanting to put in lawn, and I'm trying to just visualize where that is and how much within the regulated activity area that
Okay,
is.
so if you're looking at the picture that I'm looking at right now with the stones across the middle of the picture, it's from the stones and to Horse Pond Road, which is the White House in the distance. That's where Horse Pond.
Right.
It's that area of right there.
And that was all lawn before. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Young?
It was a bunch of
Well, it was this.
yeah.
Yeah, it was all those shrubby invasives, which is, so it wasn't maintained.
Right.
It was that. I guess maintained on the edge, but okay, so you're saying that from the wall east to Horse Pond,
From that line of stones,
you want to,
I just want to finish.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to finish that area of lawn and mulch around the trees and the landscaping plants that I put in there, and then finish my and reconstructing the stone wall. That's it.
And all that area is upland review area, not wetland, right?
Right, correct.
We're just looking at.
right, it's out of the
Right.
Area. Well,
I don't have any problem with that myself, but
other agency members, comments?
Yeah, I think he should get at what he can before it starts getting invasives in it, especially that area that is out of the wetland. It looks like there was a lot of jewelweed growing in the wetland area to begin with. That might sprout back up again if it wasn't scraped out too deep.
Yeah, there's some stuff coming up.
But I
Anna
want to make
and
sure
Joe.
that I want to make sure that it gets replanted relatively quickly so that we don't get a bunch of invasives coming in there.
Right.
Yeah, again, this picture was as of July 1st.
Yeah, so stuff is growing back up again.
And you can see the crumbled wall right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Others, so is everybody else okay if he stays outside those stone wall areas and manages replanting there?
I am.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Anna, did you
Okay.
say? Okay,
No, I
Um,
think that's fine.
okay. Yeah, I guess it's just that wetland area. Yes, stuff is gonna grow back. So as soon as you can get someone out there to look, that'd be great. Um, and if you get a plan in place, this is enforcement, you could identify Maria, I guess. But it would that's so it's fine. So we'll get you an amended letter, Mr. Young, and you can start acting people to figure out the wetland portion. And then as long as you're staying outside that, you can finish the replanting and mulching.
Okay, I'll put that together and I will work with Maria on going forward.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right, I'll
much.
get that out as soon as I can. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. And thanks for being proactive and talking to us. Okay. So that was the end of our applications and enforcements. Our correspondence was notification of pond treatment of Madison Country Club. So as Barb Yeager had told us, we just get notified when they do ponds. So we were notified. And then we have approval of minutes. So I looked over the minutes. I thought they were okay. Did anybody catch anything?
Nope, I read them quickly. I didn't see anything. They were well done.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I have a
Yes,
question.
I
I have
thought
a
so.
question on the agenda. Were there no section 13s or did that just get dropped off the agenda?
Oh,
Nope,
that's
none this month, but I think there's one that'll be next month.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah, I
question
didn't-
because you're right. It was like there's no section 13.
Yeah,
If there, the shed on Sunny Hill was hopeful until I saw where it was located.
Yeah. I wondered
Hmm.
about that when I looked at the application. I'm like, ooh, okay, I guess I understand why we're seeing this.
And then
Um,
unfortunately, I think the shed was already ordered, so if it's not on its way, it's going to be on its way.
okay.
Yeah, and we'll
All right.
discuss that next month when we can see about if they have an alternate area or not. It didn't
Okay.
sound from Michelle Ford that it sounded like there wasn't, but we can talk to them next month about it.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I expected to see barbers on it. That's the only reason I even noted it, but
Yeah. No,
we
you're
didn't
right.
put barbers on. Oh, well, yeah, you're right. I guess
Well,
we
but
should
she
have
didn't.
because they did it right away.
Right, but she didn't act on it. Well, yeah, that's fine.
anyway,
But
that's,
yeah, no, that's a good point because yeah.
okay.
Okay. Well,
I
for
move,
the minutes,
we
go ahead.
approve the June 1st, 2026 minutes.
I second.
Yes, Joe. All right. Got a motion
Joe got
and
in
a
the game.
second.
Yay.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
I,
Raise your hand, say aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Remarks. The only remark I have is I need to contact someone, but I might have a lead on another person for our commission. So
Excellent.
I'm gonna reach out
cool.
and then hopefully put her in touch and get the ball rolling so we can expand our
Excellent.
membership.
Take the pressure off.
somebody can take a night off now.
Exactly.
With permission.
Yeah.
The only
So those
comment
are my
I have
remarks.
is I believe there was an email today that there was it came in this morning or this afternoon, another pond treatment, but it's one that I think it was at Camp Laurelwood, which is kind of like an ongoing, they have a yearly kind of, they do so many treatments a year, and I just think they were giving notification. They were doing their next treatment, I think
Okay.
Wednesday or something. So that's all I have. It didn't make the agenda because it just came in fast.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So, anybody want to make a last motion for the evening?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
I second.
That's great. All right. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All right, excellent. We're done at
Yay,
8:40.
never going to do this from home
8:46.
again. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys next month.
Yeah.
Next month.
Guys.
Thanks.